Aarti Sequeira was a journalist for CNN before shooting onto the Food Network with her first show. But underneath all the success, her life has been far from easy. We've all probably felt like we don't deserve the good things we have, or worse, that we're really not as good as everyone says, especially when it comes to a new job or vocation. Celebrities aren't immune to that, and it can be made much worse by the attention of the media, press, and fans, who shower them in accolades they feel they might not deserve. It's something Sequeira felt for years, and it was often a struggle to get past it in the cooking world due to her lack of professional experience. She told Locale magazine in 2022, "I have always really struggled with imposter syndrome. That's because I didn't go to culinary school, and I didn't work in restaurants for years." After years of making cooking videos for the fun of it, she was eventually hired to make one as a professional, and that's when she began a battle with her own self-confidence. Thankfully, like many challenges in her life, she turned to her faith, which ultimately helped her realize she was on the right path. As she put it, "I thought, oh my gosh, I'm getting paid to do this. Maybe this is something that God's made me to do." I think that was the first moment where I thought, it doesn't matter what I think is the right way to go about things. I think that this is something that's been ordained for me, and I just have to trust that.
Cooking just gave me so much joy. It rescued me.
Postpartum depression is a long-lasting form of depression that can begin during pregnancy. Sadly, Sequeira found herself dealing with it after the birth of her daughter, and she wrote about how hard it was to handle in a blog post on her website. More than just a mere lack of self-assuredness, postpartum depression causes real emotional turmoil, and which is what Sequeira went through. She wrote, "It sometimes feels like I'm being attacked by a swarm of bees. Their stings are so painful, so demanding of my attention, that I can't swat them away with words of truth."
This week, I've been in tears a lot. I've just wanted to be in bed a lot. Really not wanted to do anything.
Eventually, she found her way through by seeking out professional help, saying, "I found an organization called Postpartum Support International and called the helpline. The voice on the other end was so soft, so gentle, and so understanding. They suggested a support group to start, and that's how my healing began." Since that experience, Sequeira has endeavored to help others dealing with depression by talking about her own ordeal, saying, "You cannot fully know what it's like until you've gone through it, or you've stood alongside someone going through it. It has been my privilege to help a number of women get help." While attending Northwestern University, Sequeira met her future husband, Brendan McNamara. Together, the pair moved from New York to California to pursue McNamara's dream of acting. But although she's been able to achieve many of her own life goals, some of their dreams as a couple haven't been as easy to achieve, in part due to a difficult illness they've had to deal with. Years into their relationship, her husband was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, a chronic intestinal disease marked by inflammation of the bowels. Once again, Sequeira turned to her faith to see her through, as she and her husband struggled with his condition. The circumstance has reminded Sequeira that sometimes life's biggest problems can be more important than you might realize. She told podcaster Jordan Rayner, "It is a constant sort of object lesson to my children that you bring it all. You bring it all to God, the ugly stuff, the pretty stuff, and it's all okay." As a successful journalist and TV producer for CNN in the early 2000s, Sequeira probably felt on top of the world, but things didn't work out the way she'd hoped. And while it might be easy to think she smoothly transitioned into a new role as restaurateur and celebrated chef, that's not the case at all. As she said on the Mere Christians podcast, after moving to Los Angeles, finding work on the other side of the country wasn't as easy as she thought. When she came up empty, it created something of an identity crisis.
It was who I was. And so for that to be taken away from me, I thought, oh, who am I? What's my worth? What's my value?
Feeling like a failure and a disappointment to her family, Sequeira again found answers in her faith. Just because Sequeira is on TV and has legions of fans around the world, it doesn't mean she isn't affected by life stresses. Severe anxiety is one of her biggest emotional battles, and something she's had to deal with for years. She hasn't been fighting that battle privately and has been surprisingly open about the problems it creates in her daily life. In 2017, Sequeira posted on Facebook to talk about an emergency visit to a psychiatrist after a panic attack. She used the opportunity to encourage her followers to check up on their own mental health, saying, "If you think that you're mentally unwell or someone you love might be, there is no shame in going to get some professional help. Ain't nobody got time for shame." A year later, she posted again when facing another sudden rush of anxiety, and she shared her solution and offered support to those going through it themselves, writing, "I'm taking a walk. If you're not feeling like a picture-perfect Christmas card today, it's okay. I'm walking right alongside you." Born in India, Sequeira was raised as a Catholic in Dubai. But even in her native homeland, she found herself torn between two worlds, feeling like she didn't belong. Around the age of 7, she transferred to a British-run school, and those frequent moves never made things easy for her. This led to deep insecurities about where she really belonged. But over time, the melting pot of American cities helped her overcome feeling like an outsider. She said in an interview with Women Working, "The longer I'm here, the more I understand the diversity of this country and its people. So I just feel like I'm all over the map at this point." Though she admits that she may never truly feel anything but mixed up, she has found a way to belong. And no surprise, it's all about the kitchen. At the end of the day, even if in my head and in my heart feels like a jumble, when I cook, it seems to all make sense.
Well, the joy really for me is the Parmesan cheese that's going to come in at the end.